Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 4.2 speedrun. Starting way back when I was alpha testing for Slug Disco, me and a person who goes by the name Demoant on Discord started a friendly speedrun competition for A Bridge Too Far on the insane difficulty. This competition led us to keep besting each other's times, improving the initial world record by 6 minutes, an incredible improvement. This video is a showcase on my run, which currently holds the world record. I hope you enjoy.
This fire ant queen has traveled for miles on her nuptial flight, finally landing atop a sandy mound deep in the swamp. The vantage point might seem like an ideal home, but it may be short-lived. This whole area is liable to flooding, and nearby rainfall is already causing the groundwater to rise. Exhausted and without her wings, the queen is unable to move on alone. But if she can amass enough daughters in time, the colony as a whole may stand a chance.
Welcome to 4.2, A Bridge Too Far. Our objective is to grow the colony to a certain size that varies with difficulty. Playing on Insane will give us the hardest objective to complete. Before we begin, there's a couple things to understand about the level. Although each worker ant is worth less towards the objective than a soldier, workers are more cost efficient. Soldiers are worth 40 food and workers are worth 20. One soldier provides 150% of the objective points as one worker. What this means is if you were to spend 40 food on one soldier, you would get 150% of one worker. But if you were to spend 40 food on 2 soldiers, you would get 200% of one worker. This means that you will need to know how many soldiers are needed to defend, bridge, and fight, and only make that many. All the leftover food should be put into workers to complete the objective sooner, fulfilling the idea of the speedrun. For this run, choose the Vigorous Fire Ant option. Their speed, damage, and resistance buff is very helpful and will allow less soldiers to be created. I also strongly recommend a substantial prior experience and knowledge of 4.2 if you are going to attempt this run. Once control over my ants is granted, I have my starting workers dig out a small chamber to the bottom right. They collect the food while simultaneously building 7 workers. Once the food is collected, dig out the food chamber, the southern food, and part of the soldier chamber. Then dig outside. Send 7 of your workers out to collect food, and the other 7 should be inside creating soldiers, food stores, and so on. Upgrade 4 of the food stores, leaving 330 storage in total. It's very important you keep moving the workers outside so they move to new food to collect. Once all the immediate food outside the nest is inside the nest, send the workers to the eastern pine cone. While this is all happening, I dig around my nest for the woodworm. Make sure to kill the singular checkered beetle larva that digs in with them. On the right, there are 5 checkered beetle larvae guarding half a dozen woodworm. Make sure this is the 3rd food chamber dugout, as you should have enough to fight after the free woodworm. At this time, put the outside workers back into the nest. Dig out loads of the southern portion and collect all the food. Put it all into soldiers. With this huge spike in soldiers, you will have enough to kill and collect the false bombardier beetles to the east. Collect them and dig up, but don't keep collecting. Kill the jumping spiders before you collect the rest of the food, then proceed to slaughter the invaders. Send the soldiers south and the workers to collect the dead. Once the soldiers collect their aphids, I have them go back home and collect the caterpillars along the way. A single insect always spawns here. It's incredibly lucky to get the slowest of them, a false bombardier beetle larva. This happened on my run, just a little sprinkle of Helix's luck. Get all your ants home and try to get about 50 soldiers. Immediately send them to the left and then south through the pinewood frogs. Be sure to kill all 4 frogs that spawn, primarily for safety, but also for the food they provide. Bridge to the southern aphids first, and immediately go to the aphids just north of that. Be certain to collect all the aphids. Missing just 1 could be the difference between winning and losing. Return home and collect the frogs on the way. There's no time for rest, only speed. Go south again, but from the right this time. Kill any frogs you come across and get the 5 aphids. Kill the single creature to wash up and steal the caterpillars. Go home to defend the obnoxious checkered beetle larvae. Once you kill most of the grubs, clear north and harvest the pinecone. Be as swift as possible in doing this, as you need to return to the middle and kill all the creatures to the east, as well as collect the pinecones. After this, defend the attack wave and make sure all the eastern nuts have been harvested. Immediately go to the northwest pinecone. Get there as soon as possible, as you'll only want to fight 1 red newt. Get home and clear underground until you see the 4th newt spawn. Usually, you'll only have time to clear out 1 chamber, but it's better than nothing. Ideally, you'll have 80 soldiers and 80 workers to clear the little black ants. Send all these forces to the little black ant colony. Have food collection off on the soldiers and combat off on the workers. Clear all 3 newts and proceed to bridge over to the little black ants. Have the workers swap their food collection and fighting to match their setting to the soldiers. Having played this level so many times, I knew this was exactly when the skimmer was about to land. So I moved my workers out of the milkweed plant. The blue skimmer will land any second now. Any second now. There we go. It shouldn't cause any issues, but it will kill the ants carrying back the aphids. Food collection must be off due to this obnoxiously placed caterpillar plant. Ants will climb onto it and make the long journey home with 1 food point. The little black ants will only build 19 soldiers, and rarely will they upgrade them. You will never have issues defeating this colony unless they poured all their food into upgrading soldiers, then it might be tricky. Send the soldiers into the nest first, and have the workers follow after collecting the aphids. Crush the little black ants and collect as much food as you can. Prioritize the higher food count, don't harvest the small 7s from the food store up top. Go home and kill the pesky dragonfly. This isn't her mound. The next part is very important. Do not harvest the skimmer. Instead, send all the soldiers south to the nuts. Get them and get out. Ignore the toads while this happens. They will get distracted on the hordes of workers. Send out a large worker group to the top of the mound to harvest the skimmer and wait for the objective. This is where you kick it into overdrive. Harvest underground food and spend every penny on workers. As you get closer to the objective, remove the workers from the milkweed plant and place them on top of the hill. Spend every scrap of food on workers. You must complete the objective before the attack wave reaches, else you will lose. If you manage to fulfill the objective, the ants on top of the hill will immediately complete the objective, giving you a great time. Here, I got 35 minutes and 26 seconds, which is the world record as of now. This time would not have been possible without my speedrun rival. Special thank you to Demoant, pushing me to get this time I now have. I hope this run helped those of you who watched it. I also hope you have a great day. Also subscribe.